I'm
Welcome
take
back to
my face.
MadTakeTV. I am the face that you will see when you tune into this channel. My name is Jeremy. With me, as usual, for these TV show Severance podcasts and other stuff, my boy Dre. And yeah, we're
What
here to
up?
talk about season 2 of Severance, episode 7, Sweet Vitriol. We get a Harmony Cobell episode, which has been a few episodes since we've actually even seen her on screen. So I guess it was kind of fitting that she got her own episode. And
Her own tragic backstory episode.
tragic, weird backstory. I don't know, man. So I caught in the thing that, and I know she probably mentioned it, but like in the recap that Kier and Imogen met at the ether factory. So I imagine that they're referring to this very ether factory.
Seems to be that the town that the town that this episode took place in is deeply rooted in the Kier mystique. So it could be.
Yeah, well, this is the town that we saw on the sign. This is Salt's Neck. This is the one that was 200 something miles away. So
Yeah,
we finally got to go to that town.
yeah. We
So
actually
this,
saw another place in the
I,
show.
yeah, but I do not believe this 100% shatters your theory.
Well, I got some stuff on that, but we'll
Right.
get to it.
We'll get to it. Yeah. So did you notice the music when she was driving through the town in the very beginning? It was just like that key. It was like piano. There was no words. It was like that. But it was Kier, chosen one, Kier, like real slow piano music as she was driving through the town. I thought that was a good touch. But dude, am, I am not. Listen, I'm not a. I don't know geography very well. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, I don't know if that's the right word, but like looking around, and as they're driving around, was there not like it was either water and coastal region or mountain?
Right.
So could this be an island?
I can see that.
There was a lot of water, and it seemed like a very islandy looking town. Even with the factory and stuff on it, it looked very like I was on an island. I don't know. I could be totally
Like,
wrong about it, but I was just like looking. I'm like, man, are they on an island? And like everywhere they
I know.
went, there was like water or coast, and like it was just like. And I know it's not like that in the town, but they could be more like it could be a big fucking island. But the Lumen building could be more towards the center of the island, and so you don't see the coasts in the landscape shots.
Yeah, no, I really didn't pay much attention to it. I was more or less, first of all, I was like, oh, okay, so we actually get to see something outside of the regular town, and my first impression was, is this place just a prop? It looked to me, it looked like it wasn't even a real
Dude,
place because
so
it just
haphazard.
it looked desert. It almost looked like one of those Disney rides where it's like it's a small world or whatever. It's like everything in place was just like there.
They're meant to be temporary.
Yeah, it was like it was weird. It had a really eerie feel about it.
Did you notice that there was no power?
No, there was no power.
I didn't see a single lit light bulb. They were using torches and lanterns. Like there was no electricity there.
There was no support for the town at all.
No.
But the thing that it was almost like it was completely off grid. But the thing that really struck me and the obvious thing that they wanted us to look at, the first person I think she saw was the guy sitting off on the side, like huffing ether or whatever.
Yeah. Well, she was
And
brushing her teeth,
she was
which is
brushing her teeth outside, which was weird in and of
weird.
itself. Because it's like, okay. But everything just
But
felt,
then she
I don't know. I don't,
mentions, I don't know, she
it
mentions,
had
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but she mentions a little bit later that she could smell that shit on their breath. The huffing,
yeah.
like, yeah. So he poured it on something, he put it in a paper bag, and then like met eyes with her and then started huffing it, right?
Yeah, but that's what was weird about it. Because, like I said, when you first see him, it's like, okay, there's somebody here, but whatever. He's an addict. And then the next people you see, same thing, but they like sitting in a different, slightly different setting indoors, and they all everything about it is like this is all we do in this town. We
Yeah, no,
sit
there is
around.
no work. There is no nothing. They just
Yeah,
sit
we
there. They
just
have
sit around and
nothing.
get high.
Right. They can create fires for warmth. They can like somehow or another make they well obviously you can make coffee without electricity and heat up water without electricity. You know what I'm saying? But like I don't know. Yeah, so they go into this town and you see this just like midday shit and he's like you hear about Dutch Stevens kid and he's like, "Yeah, how you flip a 2-ton snowplow." So there's I guess there's something happening somewhere and around like if there's somebody's operating a snowplow for some reason, but I wonder if that's just it. Like they just have to get the snow out of the way. Like what kind of supplies do these people get or whatever? The old lady in there is creepy as fuck too.
Yeah, she was very offsetting and off-putting, and then you had the fact that it's presented like she's an addict too. Like she just sitting there waiting for
I
the
think
next hit.
so.
Like,
Well, you could see, and I wonder if they showed her eyes were that like distinctly like a bluish, purplish color. And I know like well, I don't know, but like I guess that could happen with age. But to me, I think they showed her eyes specifically to say she's been doing this shit for a long time, and this is what
mhm.
happens.
It's a
We got to see,
physiological.
yeah, we got to see a little bit like all the different stages of this addiction with all these people. You know, like the cafe guy and the other guy that he was talking to are kind of like, you know, they're all right, but she was at the tail end of it. Like she's been doing this shit and huffing it forever. She remember she said you could top me off anytime or something like that. That was
Yeah,
yeah,
little. She doesn't know that she looks like that now because she's been sitting there doing that shit for so long. She's
right.
still doing her cute little flirtatious thing, but it's like you look like a goddamn muppet. You look
Yeah.
he's like
Right.
what are we doing? So no, that was it was all weird. Shout out to the actress. I wasn't like shaming her for how
Yeah,
she
no.
looked, but
Well,
that's
I
what
mean,
it was
obviously
presenting.
that was a lot of it's probably makeup. She doesn't just look like that on a daily basis, I imagine.
Mhm.
But like okay, so she was from this town. So like this is like Cobell knows these people. Like she comes into the cafe and she knows dude cuz she says like, "Oh, like Harmony Cobell will flip my toboggan." Like she was trying to put words in his mouth, you know what I'm saying? And this hold up. Let me catch up here. So it's she's from this little shithole town that was probably not such a shithole when she was there because the factory was being used for
Right.
whatever, you know, for creating ether. And it was just like this, like, you know, like Gary, Indiana used to be. Gary, Indiana was like a steel mill city. And then, you know, once they like moved to steel mills or whatever, they got out.
Kind
Everybody
of
left.
like it's like Ford Heights.
Yeah.
Ford Heights, Ford factories there. Everybody had a job. Most of the people moved into the town for
Yeah.
the Ford factory
To
back in
work
the
there.
what 30s and 40s. And now it's like everybody in the town is just like in squalor because
Because there's
shout out to my folks from Ford Heights.
yeah,
But yeah,
it's
y'all know where y'all live.
similar town. Like it's like yeah, we both know like real life examples and have seen real life examples of this exact thing happening. So it's totally relatable in that regard. But so she says to him, the town is older and frailer than I remember. And I thought his response was interesting. So I quoted it. And he says, he's like, well, with the market readjustment from a few years ago and the fluctuating interest rates, there was a retrenchment from some of the core infrastructure investments. It was like this parroted line that that's what fucking Lumen said to them when they were backing out of this
Yeah,
town and
exactly.
leaving all these fucking people behind. You know what I
hmm
mean? That's that
Minimal
exact
bullshit, but basically we fucked
bullshit
your town.
corporate
So now
fucking
we out.
line. Right. Right. So she asked him, she said she needs a favor and she asked the guy to meet her at the factory. And like he just drops what he's doing and immediately goes and meets her, even though he was not excited to see her. like
I
at
would
all.
I would drop everything and go see Patricia Arquette,
Well,
even
yeah,
at this
okay,
age.
yeah,
But I do want to say one thing, interject this real quick.
sure.
This is not just a Lumen town. This is a Kier town, and I think that's a little more prescient than just being a Lumen town because it feels like we already knew that Lumen and Kier, the philosophy is intermingled or whatever, but these people didn't just work for this company in this town. They believed in a philosophy. You know what I mean? That's what's being presented. They were followers of Kier. Like you didn't hear anybody say anything about like Jesus or Allah, any kind of religion. It's Kier. This is a religious stronghold
Well,
that they have on these people.
fair enough. But the only mentions of any other religions we've heard so far were the with Bert and Fields
And
at
he made that
dinner.
joke about Jesus, right?
Right.
And then he was
Well,
talking
I
about going to
wasn't. Yeah, they
church.
were talking about going to the church or whatever. I think he even
But
mentioned the type of
remember
religion.
when
I
we
can't
even
remember.
talked about that? We talked about how the church acquiesced to Kier by saying that
Yeah.
innies have souls and shit. So it's 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 uh it's it's a it seems like a nationwide religious movement almost, and it's trippy.
At least island wide. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say where we are geographically. It really is. But you see the giant Lumen logo like on the building?
mm-hmm.
The big like old school. Well, it's not the current one. It's an old one. It says Lumen Industries across it. That was interesting. But everything
Like
just looks completely abandoned and beat down. Dude is pissed that he's there. When he gets there, he's like, "You realize how fucked it is for you to bring me here?" So there's apparently some bad blood, bad memories from this place, and we figure that out within a few sentences.
yeah, that's
Actually,
what I was about to say. They covered that almost immediately.
right?
I'm with you. I'm waiting. I'm gonna try not to say too much
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to.
So she wants a ride to
One
Sissy's.
specific thing
She
I want
wants
to
a
talk
ride to
about.
Sissy's. He
Mm-hmm.
said Sissy still lives by the 9. Well, what the fuck does that mean? That's mentioned more than once in this episode, and I cannot recall it being mentioned at all.
Are the 9 tenets of Kier?
Yeah, but she said she lives by the 9. I don't know about the tenants, but she made it seem like it was a physical location.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And then they right.
I guess the way it was said, it made me think it was saying like she lives by those old laws or whatever.
And I know you'll be able to tell me this, and I guess I can get kind of a basic definition of what it is from this sentence in context. But he says that Sissy is. He says she's still a pariah here, and I've heard that word before, but I'm not sure I know exactly what it means.
Pariah is a it's like a problem that people almost like an outcast problem that people see as a social pariah is something that people look at as an outcast. We look down on that person. It's like the you remember the
Okay.
story, the Scarlet Letter?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
I
it's some
understand.
in the vein of that.
It was in the vein. I was thinking kind of the same thing, but more of a religious tone. But I guess it works either way, with or without
Mhm.
religion. So okay, so that makes more sense. Okay, he asked why she should help him. Why he should help her with anything. Like he has. It's weird because I think he has like he hates this woman, but he doesn't. He hates. I'm talking about Harmony. Like he hates her, but like part of him doesn't. You know, it's a
I think he
weird
might
kind
hate
of
her. Well, we know why he hates her later, but never mind. Go ahead.
right. He has yeah, and then so they like worked at the factory. He said she said we used to be chums, colleagues lift each other up or something like that. And he said what do you say, colleagues, child fucking labor. So they were
Yeah,
working in this fucking factory as little kids, and that's because yeah, because she went into she was raised by them, so like we have to imagine that she went away to school and he got left behind and working in that fucking factory until they shut
Mm-hmm.
it down. So he probably worked there. He spent his whole fucking life in that factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
is
that was pretty messed up little. We get a hint of the child labor with Miss Swan being around, but
well
not to this degree. Like a factory that.
well
Or,
the the name of the internship that Mrs. Wong is in, that's what Harmony Cobell came from.
correct.
So
Right.
when we were talking about it before on a mention of it, we had theorized that this would possibly be something that comes after Cold Harbor,
Okay.
but apparently this is something that's been around for a very long time, and this is what they call whatever this child
It's like,
labor internship that they do in
well, I think,
Lumen.
well, I think they go around and they got kids working in the factory, and if they find one that's particularly bright, they get to the winter tide internship.
Hmm.
Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like so that was a revelation that that there was kids running the fucking factory. It's kind of what I imagine, just a bunch of fucking like 10 to 12-year-olds doing hard fucking labor, stirring ether vats and running off in the corner doing kid shit and huffing it because they like the way it
Yeah,
makes
that's
them
what I was
feel.
about to say. You automatically gonna start getting high because when you're a kid and you around that shit, it's gonna
It just
happen.
takes one asshole to be like, "Hey guys, check this out." you know. So so he finally agrees to take her to well, she says to him, she says, help me or don't, but I'm not going to be your punching bag for your resentments. And which okay, it's not really her fault what happened to him. He's mad that she left, and basically probably led a lot better of a life than he did. Obviously, seeing as the
Yeah,
surroundings that he lives in.
shit. Not just his surroundings. On some of the close-up shots on his face, you can see he has a very weathered face.
Well, and
Like
that I think some of that is this junky shit, like the scabbing on his face
that's what I'm
is
saying.
part of the.
His face is showing the effects of his life, and
Mm-hmm.
they made sure to show that, like, because when you said her name is Sissy or whatever her name is,
Sissy, yeah.
uh, yeah, whenever they arrive at her place, she doesn't look like that. She's a crazy looking bitch, but she don't look physically ill and worn down.
No, I don't think she's doing it because
Right.
when they get there, so like that's where we're at. My next note says a Harmony's family home, but I don't think that that's what it was. It was like a home, like a boarding school, basically. She like it was like a dormitory. She raised the kids that worked at the fucking at the thing because there was a sign on the wall later on that I actually
Okay.
took a picture of, and I'll read what that says when we get there. We're almost there.
Okay, but I have one
Go
question
ahead.
for
Yeah,
you.
sure.
I So if you're saying she raised the people in like the boarding school, I don't know why I got the impression that she was family.
I think she was, but she was also she was also that. I'll
Okay.
because of the sign that I read. We'll explain. It's just
Okay.
right here. So I don't even know why. Wait. So let me look up this picture. Let me pull up the picture because I took a picture of it. So it says at the top, it says Lumen Ether with the Lumen logo. And then it says Quarterly Striver, fourth quarter, year of vision, youth apprentice matron, Celestine Sissy Cobell. So she is family,
Okay.
but she was also the matron of this household or whatever. But I
Okay.
think so. From what you could tell, she when she goes up to her room, the age markers, the height markers on the door stop at 12 years old. They don't go beyond that. So I think that's when she left for school. So she wasn't there the whole time. She was only raised till she was 12 by this dusty old woman. But in this woman, so she says when they pull up, she goes in, she says, "You're not welcome here," and she doesn't want that huff peddler on her property. And Harmony says, "You're the one who gave him the thirst for it." So this woman was sending these kids to the factory during the day to work, and then she was bringing them and doing whatever schooling or lumen brainwashing she had to do, the rest of the time while they all lived in that house. So I guess it could have been her house. I don't really know. Because her mother had a bedroom, and it didn't seem like a large house. Like there could have been a bunch of kids living there, but like maybe that's, if you looked around, maybe there was like a schoolhouse or something, or another like dormitory where the kids lived. But youth apprentice matron is it was an interesting thing. So that was
she was the meal chick of the coastal town or whatever.
right. Okay. But she was the one who was taking care of the kids and brainwashing the children. And like it obviously didn't work on most of the kids in the town, but it worked on Harmony. And so anyway, while she's up there fishing around in her room, she looks like it was her old bedroom, which is emptied out. The old lady yells from downstairs and tells her to come down and tell her what's it about. And she says, what'd you do with my things? And she's like, I sold them. She's like, you aren't yours to sell. And it's just this real weird, stiff conversation. And she asked her if anybody's been there or called, and she said Mr. Drummond's been there. So they've already been looking for
Yeah.
Harmony after she left the parking lot that night. They've been on a search for her. And they discuss her mom's last words. She said, what were her last words? And she said, child, don't test me. And I thought, the way she said it, I thought she took that as that's were her last words. And then she said, no, what did she say? And then she said something about, did you not remember? Or she said nothing when you pulled the tube from her gullet. And that's when she smacked her.
This little conflict between her and her sister, it's not so much the story of Lumen, which is why I kind of like, I didn't tune it out, but I was like, okay, familial conflict. You got the jealous older sister. She wasn't as smart as Harmony, so she didn't get to go and do
So
all
I
the other
think this is her mother's sister.
Oh, you think it's her
So
auntie?
I think this is her auntie.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense.
Well, she looks significantly older than Harmony. So I think that was her mother's sister. And her mother was not a Lumen stooge, who obviously didn't like Lumen because she said she wasn't a believer or whatever. And then, we learned that her mom died while she was away at school. And she didn't get to say goodbye or see her mother off or anything like that. And that's when it's mentioned that she was in the Wintertide Fellowship. And now, and that shit all just fucking brings back, because obviously Milchek was Wintertide, right? So again, we get to see these different stages of these people and their lives and experiences with this company or whatever. In the beginning, we get to see them in the middle, we get to see them at the end, or when it turns bad for them, or when they've been loyal for however many years with this old woman.
Yeah, I think what we seeing, like we got some clues, some hints about it with like closed down factories or whatever, closed down Lumen offices that they talked about with the replacement MDR crew that came in at the beginning of this season. And then some of the closed off spaces in the office or whatever. But now you got a real good look at what happens when Lumen is done with this area. Okay, we over here, we doing this thing. We run roughshod through the whole thing, get what we need, fuck the people, move on to the next place.
Well, too, and even like, so here's just like, now I'm just kind of thinking it through. With the factory, so Lumen made ether. They produced ether. That was their moneymaker. That's why they had the factory. That's what they were doing, probably amongst other things, right? This little girl comes along, and she's a genius. basically. She invents, I'm skipping ahead or whatever, and then everything changed. That's when they dumped the factory and turned all of their attention towards Severance and all of the other different technologies that brings about.
So I'm questioning this. Well, I'm not questioning. I'm just drawing a parallel. The ether, even though they were mining it, if the lady was accused of
Well,
getting the
it
people,
wouldn't be a mine because they said factory. Factory would indicate that you're creating something, right?
were
In a
creating it,
factory, you're creating a. Oh,
mining,
God, fair enough. All right, all right.
producing. But what I'm
Right,
saying
right.
is, if these are children working there, maybe the way that they were able to get them to work there was through the ether addiction,
Oh yeah,
and
100. Yeah,
that
you could definitely
would
see that.
that
That
that would set up a mind state of the Lumen people that's like we want to be able to force people to work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
okay.
all in the
And so
same
this
vein.
was the. Oh wow, yeah, I like that a
I
lot.
want mindless workers that I don't have to care about.
I
Is
like that
kind
a
of
lot. That's actually
yeah.
so like basically the ether factory and having the kids huffing the ether and getting them addicted to it in that way was like experiment one for that, what you're
Yeah, that
talking
was
about for the
it was working
docile
when it
worker.
was working.
And
Yeah.
then, again, we'll get
You
to
get
the we'll get
severance and now you can do it in a different way. It's a
and
lot less messy
and
looking.
you can apply these people's skills too to whatever it might be. Like again, we haven't seen how many fucking departments there are. We have no idea what all of what they're doing. We see all the different products Lumen creates. Like every fucking
Right.
thing's got Lumen on it. So and they make their own doors. So there's a Lumen door factory somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's so she basically calls her a disappointment. She said you were like the best. You were the you stood out even in the factory. And what did he say? Mr. Egan saw Kier in you,
Mm-hmm.
and now what a disappointment you've become. And she says like, what'd you tell him? What'd you tell him? Because she kind of gets the snake that she knows something. She kind of picks up on it, and then she says. You could go back and seek forgiveness. They'll give it to you. So this is what Drummond basically told Sissy. Well, if she comes back, tell her that we'll forgive her if she comes home.
If she come back right.
Right. So that was it. So she's just she's a loyal Egan Lumen stooge. This woman, still, even though in retirement or whatever, she's just living in this little fucking slum house with no electricity or anything. She's still loyal. So you still have these people that are just like deathly loyal to this company,
Yeah, and it
religion,
doesn't seem
cult,
to
whatever you
be
want to call it.
I guess that's where the religious aspect come in because it doesn't seem to be any financial incentive for her to still be loyal.
It's crazy, ain't it?
She
Because she's living in squalor, essentially. You know, I guess squalor. I mean, like I don't know. Like the house looked really old, but I guess it didn't look like filthy or anything. They didn't give us that, but like, so she wants the key. She finally just asked for the key again. She wants the key to her mom's room. What did she say when she told her that when she wanted the key? She's like, that room stays locked to all who remember her
so
go to Kier.
I go on to seek here, yeah.
Right. So, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, because why would you
Yeah, because then nobody, like, if anybody remembers, then anybody, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so she runs up seemingly into Sissy's room, right? She busts open the door to Sissy's room, and Sissy's got a fucking Egan fucking shrine that looks really similar to what Harmony had at her house back in season 1
okay.
before she destroyed it and tore it down. It had all the little knickknacks, it had the 4 little heads of it was like the 4 figures from that one painting with like the goat head and the jester and like thing. And it was like the dancers during Dylan's thing in season 1 where he got that reward where he got to go sit and they came out and dance for him and wearing those weird masks with the goat head and the jester and I forget what the painting was called, but
It's something about
she had
the
there was all the Egan stuff was there, And so she finds the key in the box. There was all kinds of like, I bet you there was all kinds of Easter eggs in that thing if you like paused it and really like looked through the whole shrine. But yeah, she finds the key and she runs right away and unlocks the mom's bedroom. And then, dude, and I'm not even lying to you, this shit set off my gag reflex. I almost fucking threw up. She fucking takes out this dead woman's fucking breathing tube out of her pocket and hooks it up to this 30-year-old fucking breathing machine at most and just starts. Oh, I can't even fucking describe it, dude. Without, I don't know why it grossed me out so much, but just
Yeah, it was a
that
very
was
weird.
really weird and
It was
disgusting.
almost like that was her way of connecting with her mother's last moments. It felt like an emotional thing. It felt
It
like her
did,
reverting back to childhood,
sure.
dealing with the trauma that she's been through. She kind of wanted to go back to the moment, but not just go back to the moment herself. She went back to the moment to kind of for herself to kind of recreate what it was like for her mother laying in that bed. So it was weird enough where it took the emotion out of the scene. It was really weird.
Well,
Like
then
it
she kind
was
of like humming like was she like humming a song into it? It
mm,
was like really fucking
it was
strange, dude. But
I don't want to go I wouldn't call it creepy, but it was weird enough where it was like this could be an emotional scene, but what we seeing now is just a weird scene with a person being emotional in a weird
in
way.
a
So
weird fucking
it,
way,
it was trippy. I'll tell you that much.
just
But
breathing dead person air. Like I just can't even like.
see, here's the thing about that scene that says
I
something to
don't know.
me. So I'm looking at this and
Okay.
I'm like, okay, she knows Drummond has been in contact with Sissy. She knows her Sissy is saying that this guy that's outside with her is not welcome here,
Well,
and
she
she
said something
knows
about calling the authorities too. She had
and
mentioned
she
it.
did also say that, and she also knows that Lumen. Speaking of the authorities, have we seen any police in this show
I don't think so.
at all?
I don't think so. The
I feel
only
like me.
authoritative figure that we really saw was Doug Grainer.
I just feel like at some point during the like when the people was out there protesting in season one with those flyers and shit. I feel like we would have saw police at some point, but I'm gonna have to go back to season one because I don't think we've seen any officers of the actual law.
Well, and there was like the you talk about when they went to when he went on that date with that chick and they
Yeah,
went to
they
the
was out there walking,
yeah, okay. Well, I mean those
but
people
still,
weren't like causing too much of a ruckus, but like
yeah, but I mean, but we've seen people like die and shit. You know what I mean? Like PD when he died, and like
oh,
it
there
was
you go. We did see some emergency vehicles, but I don't know about
yeah,
actual
but I
police.
don't remember seeing actual police. That's
I
why I say
saw
I
we
want to
saw
go
like
back.
paramedics.
I want to go back and take a look at it. But no,
Yeah.
the point I was trying to make was that the thing that struck me about the scene was that even though she's searching for something, she's also on her last leg. She is in a point of desperation and she's afraid. And the way they characterize that is this woman knows that people are after her. She knows that they will take her life given the opportunity. But she just like
Or
fucking laid
something
down and went to
equal
sleep.
to or worse.
Yeah, but she just laid down and went to sleep.
Yeah, and they
It's like
showed the
she
time
had
passing
no
through
else.
the window too, which was actually a cool scene. But this, I mean, like, how far off visually was this? Besides all the white, like from what we're used to in the show, which is cool. I like the break from the norm. But
Yeah,
anyway,
no, it was cool, but I just
yeah,
thought it was weird as shit
yeah,
because,
weird,
like,
super weird. Everything
in the
about it was
mid,
weird.
like, think about it mentally. You on a run, like people coming after you. You just go lay down and go to sleep. Like she didn't get what she was looking for and immediately run out of the house and go jump back in the back of the truck and like try to get out of there. She literally laid the fuck down and was like, "All right, I'm going to sleep." It almost felt like she was giving up to me. Like when I
For a
watched it, it
second,
felt like
yeah,
she was
sure,
just like
I'll give that to you.
because
And then like, dude kind of breaks, snaps her out of it when he kind of forces his way in to Sissy's house. He kind of like it's
mhm.
nighttime and he forces his way in and comes up
You
and
hear
goes up there.
Sissy screaming at him, yelling at
Yeah.
him. get out and all that. He not listening. He kind of came on up and found her.
Well, I mean, like she's a frail old woman. Like it's like she's not gonna overpower anybody, you
She got
know,
that cure in her. You never know.
right? Unless I don't know. We haven't seen any real like firearms in this show, so nobody's had any guns or anything. But I guess it's you know not beyond possibility. But so he's like, you want to get high? In the middle of all this,
As soon as he
this is
said
some
it,
junky shit. I
as
was
soon
like,
as he
damn,
said
like
it,
they in the middle of some stuff, man. Holy fuck.
but this. As soon as he said that, two thoughts. The first thing I thought about was Towley
You
from
want to get
South
high?
Park.
Yeah.
You want to get high?
As
But I
he,
laughed at it because Tally would it actually fucking connects because Tally would like to get high even in the midst of a crisis because he couldn't function
without
dealing
it.
with stuff. So he was just like, we would be better off if we just get high. So in the same boat, he knows somebody might be coming after. He knows it's dangerous to be there for him,
She
and
definitely gave him that indication when they spoke, for sure.
is immediately he
Yeah.
didn't want to
He's like, what did you
but
do?
he also in the moment was like, "Fuck it, let's get high."
Why? Yeah,
Like,
right.
we got
And
nothing else
busts out
going
a
on.
literal towel. So there you go. It's still all connected.
Yeah,
He busts
Tally
out a little
brought out.
towel, busts out actual towel, and they huff it and they seemingly get the giggles. I don't know. It must make you feel some sort of way. It's not like his eyes rolling in the back of his head and he went like on an ayahuasca trip. Like it was
I am
just
not a drug expert, so I
me
don't
either.
know what ether and all this stuff is supposed to do. But the only
Oh,
thing I could think of, I think it was related to dental medicine, uh, in real world history.
yeah, we looked it up, didn't we? On one of these podcasts, or
I
we looked
think
up
we
the
looked it up. Yeah, it was used as a form of anesthesia
yeah.
like that. So I guess it's just it gives you a euphoric feeling. So they just in that moment they just decided to get high and start giggling and shit.
And I don't remember exactly what it was that jogs her memory during this scene, but she's like she wouldn't have thrown it away, and then she goes out to some sort of like it looks like a food cellar, like an underground like storage cellar type of thing, and she goes in and she pulls out the yearly why can't I say that word? Reminiscences? Yearly
Okay.
reminiscences book? It's a yearbook. It's a school yearbook. She opens it up. It's a picture of her, obviously. She was valedictorian. And it was a picture that said, "Go fighting kids."
I had to have
I'm
looked
telling
away
you
from
this
the
show.
screen.
I'm telling you this show is a comedy in some way,
I
shape, or
had
form.
to have looked
It's
away from the
there.
screen on that. That's
It
insane.
says "Go Fighting Kids," and it's a picture of like what looks like a sports team, and then some scores are listed down there, and a bunch of different city names. But the city names, man, they could be project names. I wish I'd have taken a picture of that too
I
to
just want
look
to
at.
randomly throw this out there. The name of a baby goat is a kid, but continue.
Go Fighting. Okay, wow, that's an interesting fact. Go Fighting
Yeah.
Kids. So they're the Go Fighting Baby Goats. Holy fucking shit! Wow.
So yeah, that's weird in and of itself. But I
I
wish I would have caught that.
so then she picks up like seemingly like it's like a bust, like a statue head of looks like Jane Egan, and she tears out the bottom of it and pulls out a notebook. And this is what she's looking for. This is the reason she came here, obviously.
Mhm.
So she goes back in to show Sissy this notebook, and as she's walking in, she's putting a log on the fire or whatever. And then she walks up and she hands her that notebook, and then it's revealed what the notebook is. And the notebook is
Part of the show.
it's one of the biggest reveals so far. Actually, is that
It's the biggest reveal.
Severance, and everything related to it was designed and created by Harmony Cobell. Like huge reveal, but this dusty old bitch is holding this notebook, and I'm like, I said it out loud when I was watching it with my wife and daughter. I was like, she's gonna burn it. She's gonna burn the fucking notebook. And sure enough, she tries to fucking do that shit. I was so glad when she walked up and snatched it out of her hand. I was like, oh, I'm glad she didn't burn that notebook. I've been mad.
Shout out
Because,
to the
no,
show. But once again, not doing the thing that the audience expects, because when she
right,
went to burn it, my immediate thought was she gonna burn it and that's it.
right,
Nope. No, I still got the book. So no, that was cool.
right.
Here's the thing. This is why I was waiting to get to this part, because this is the part of
Sure.
the episode.
This was the huge part. Yeah, this was
This was
the
the
big.
part that changed the entire show for me.
Okay. Please break it down.
Harmony Cobell, being the creator of Severance, gave us two things. One, when explaining this to Sissy and explaining why she never said anything, is because they told her that if she tried to take credit, then she would be punished. She would be admonished or whatever the
Banished.
hell it
She
was.
said banished.
Banished. Yes. So they took the technology from a child. I don't know how old she was when she created it, but given that the notebook was there at the house,
I'm saying that 12. She left that house at 12 years old. Is
if
I'm
she
going off
left
of
at
with the wall.
12, exactly. So if she left at 12 years old, if that notebook was there with the blueprints of what she created, that means they took this technology from a child,
From a child.
and they threatened her with banishment from their religious cult.
Well,
And
and
she
but they
was,
also manipulated her with it by saying Kier's knowledge is for all. By
oh yeah,
using like weird shit like that and
excellent gaslight,
manipulative uh,
excellent gaslight.
gaslighting language that, yeah,
Wonderful.
exactly.
You didn't create it. Kier gave this to you, and now
Kier
it's for you
gave
to
you
use.
the knowledge to be able to create it, so
Yeah,
therefore it belongs to Kier.
it's for everybody. It's
Right,
not yours. You can't be selfish.
right.
So, that part that shows once again that there is no moral compass to the company.
Okay.
And then the other
Oh
part
yeah,
is,
no,
if Harmony
obviously not.
Cobell created this and she was overseeing the severed floor,
Dude,
she was more important to the company.
she's like
And
the company.
that conversation, it changed, it recontextualizes the conversation she had with Helena when she said, "I'm too important." And then Helena is like, "No, I think you overestimated how important." No, no, she actually is too important to the company.
Right.
They
So she go ahead. So if you had something else to say, go ahead,
I just
finish.
to say so the threat of death, I don't think is looming over her in the way that we thought it was. I think the threat, or what the character might think. I think the threat of being severed herself is what she's facing,
Sure.
because you would be able to sever her, put her down there like you got Mark's wife,
And
and just basically,
would
use
she
her
have a
down there
similar skill set or be able to use that genius even if severed?
find a way.
So
They would find a way.
I found it interesting that even at 12 and even at 12 years old, even being manipulated by this cult and being told that Kira's knowledge is for all and that, this and that, and being basically manipulated out of your life's work, some part of her knew to hide that notebook.
Oh yeah.
So some part of her knew that they would either turn on her or but she hid that notebook. It wasn't like in a drawer. She fucking hid it in a trophy to where no one would be able to ever find it.
Right.
So there's her. She believed, but there was a little part of her that didn't. Right? She was smart enough to know and see that some of the things, even as a child, that was being done was wrong, and that they couldn't fully be trusted, even though she did trust them enough to go and spend. I mean, how old is Patricia Arquette, or how old would you say that she's late 50s?
She's in the 60s, I believe.
Okay, so that means that she spent from the age 12 till however old she is now inside of Lumen with Kier being her genius being used to develop. I mean, if you ask me, so like all that shit she
My
was flipping through,
apologies, he's
everything,
56, but
like everything that is Lumen now, it can be credited to
everything
her.
that's happening with Mark's wife, all of this shit, everything that's happening, her obsession with Mark and all of this stuff, it was about her from the beginning. Now, what Kier's motive is, we still haven't discovered. We don't know exactly what their ultimate goal is. Because if you relate it to, okay, like I said, everything is recontextualized now.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about severance as a way to separate the mind from the soul, the spirit, and move from one body to the other, and all that. That couldn't have that when they was dealing with producing ether. That could not have been their ultimate goal then. You
No.
understand what I'm saying? So we really, technically, we really don't know what they're trying to do right now
Well,
at all.
I like your motive. You mentioned a good motive earlier about the docile worker thing.
Yeah,
But there still has
it
to
could
be
be
more
that.
motivation for that. It can't just be that. There has to be another motivation that led to them wanting to be motivated to have docile workers. Like, you know what I mean? Like there has to be a grander motivation. Agreed. We don't know what that is. But the docile worker motivation and the her finding that technology I think is really interesting, and they stole it. They stole it from her.
See, now it's going to be more trouble. Now, here's the other thing that it spells out. Now we move to the next hurdle. Um, she does leave with the guy. They get outside. He
Yeah.
gives over his vehicle after a short conversation and said no, he yelled from outside, says people are coming.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming. So she runs out.
Because it
They
was
have a
during that
short.
confrontation. So yeah, real quick though, because the old woman says some nasty shit about her mom, about her being you were a flower. I tried to help you grow, but you really are a weed, just like she was.
Just like she
And she,
was, yeah.
yeah, and that's when he yells for her to come out. So yeah, continue.
And she might have, with that comment, she might have pulled the plug on the mom. The lady, Sissy, she
Oh
might have
sure,
actually, because she told her that the mom chose to do that. She pulled her breathing tube out with her own hands.
yeah,
That's what she said. She might be lying. I don't put it past the person that would say something like that or be that type of person.
right.
She would
And
definitely be lying. And
she
Harmony
hated
Cobell
her. She
seemed to be.
obviously hated her because she wasn't a believer. She
Yeah,
didn't
and
believe in
Harmony
Kier.
Cordell seems to be the type of person who is able to like read between the lines and know when she being led on. So what I'm saying is the guy calls her out, they speak for a second, he gives her the truck, she's going. But the meantime, what we did discuss throughout the show, she had received several phone calls from Devin.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah.
Um,
Through the whole show,
yeah,
she was got I think 3 phone calls from Devin, and the
yeah,
last one she picks up.
Devin had been calling her and she was
Hmm.
ignoring the calls. Now she finally answered the phone while she's on the road because now this is the moment the hero got the shit that they need. They got the
She instantly
tote.
becomes the smartest person on the show. Correct.
Oh yeah, and now she's ready. She's in action.
She's the
Now we set
smartest.
up.
She's always has been, but now we know that she's the
Wait,
brains
we
behind
thought.
everything.
To be fair, we me personally, I thought she was just a creepy crazy bitch.
Me too. This is
She's a
crazy.
creepy. She's a creepy crazy bitch who happens to be a genius.
Happens,
So
right?
so um
But
she
also
talks
was
to Devin.
manipulated as a child to use that genius to nefarious goals
Right.
in a
But she
way.
talks to Devin, and Devin says Mark is reintegrating, and she instantly said, well, Gabi,
Ragabi, yeah,
Ragabi, she knew instantly who it was,
right.
which leads me to believe that the process might have been moved along and helped by Ragabi because Ragabi did say she was one of the people that helped like make this thing happen, which is why she's intimately knowledgeable of it. But she
But also
says,
seems to
put
be
Mark.
fucking experimenting too at the same fucking time.
But
So,
she said, put Mark on the phone and said, tell me everything. Now, here's my thing. What this sets up for me.
mhm.
We already know Drummond knows that she might go home. that means he might have an inkling that she's looking for something. She might be looking for the Severance blueprints or whatever. They might have to try to kill her now. Like
Will
they
kill
might
her or trap her in like a severance loop, like they got Miss
they
Casey,
might
some
go
type of thing.
they might go scorched earth on the whole thing, because one thing you don't do with a religion, any religious type movement, is you don't undercut their creation story. Kier's creation story is that he created Severance.
Mm-hmm.
You undercut that, you wipe away the entirety of the faith.
You're a danger to the entire faith,
Right.
right? Correct.
The integrity of this thing we do, this person can no longer exist. We might not even be able to try to sever her anymore. We might just have to kill her. So I think she might not just be the one in danger anymore. What's her name? Mark's wife. I hate that I can't remember her name ever. But
Miss Casey and Miss Casey or Gemma is his wife's
Gemma.
name.
Okay, so Gemma, Harmony, Mark, Dylan, everybody, they might all be in danger at this point. They might, like I said, the show doesn't do what people expect. So I'm like 50-50 on this. But right now I'm kind of nervous because it's like shit. They might go scorch earth. Everybody might have to go. They with this episode they showed you they don't give a fuck about clearing out of town and leaving
Yeah, but
everybody.
they just left everybody though. They didn't like
Yeah.
murder everyone. We haven't
Well, we
seen them
don't know
be
that. We don't
particularly
know that
violent. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. We do not know that. You're
because that
totally
was a
right.
factory. Think about what we saw. It was a whole fucking factory. We saw four people.
There could have been an accident.
Right. We
Right.
saw four people.
Well, I was just the way I was assuming was that most of them just moved on to the Lumen and went to work at the Lumen building
That could be
and
a
started
thing.
doing that. They needed a lot of people to build that.
Those might have been the
Fucking
ones
this
that went crazy and had the rebel.
ridiculous, yeah, giant underground facility that this Lumen building seems to be. I mean, obviously there's a huge underground facility down there.
Yeah.
Right.
So nah. So
But yeah,
no.
that's where the episode ends.
Overall,
Is her saying, "Tell me everything." That is the end of the episode. So
overall, I do want to I want to leave a review for this one because I don't think we've ever done that. This is not what this channel is about as of yet. But I just want to say for this episode, for being 37 minutes long, one of the shortest or the shortest episode of the show so far, it was for me the most consequential episode, and I want to give it a solid A minus. I think I could have used a little more information on the town, but I guess they don't,
I mean, there was a lot of visual context going on, man,
yeah,
which I think they did a really good job of. Kind of like tell the town story just in these 37
really need
minutes
to
that
get
we
this
spent there.
picture off my phone. I was looking at Patricia Arquette's age.
Yeah,
Did
she's a
that.
baddie.
Yeah. But he's 56 years old.
She's a baddie.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Now, is she related to David Arquette?
Yes, I believe so. I'm just gonna say it
Because
yes
to be
because
perfectly honest with you, I had never heard of her before this show.
I don't like you for that.
And if I have, I just don't know it.
Yeah, she's Rosanna Arquette, David Arquette. Yeah, both of them are her siblings. I'm almost certain that Rosanna is an actress as well. Yeah, she's 65 and she's an actress as well. The other two siblings, I don't believe they act.
Okay. Yeah, all in all, it was a good, very revealing episode. We've spent basically 2 episodes away from our main protagonists, in a way, being Mark and the gang. So I'm kind of anxious to get back to them and see what's going on that end of things, or even like what the heck's going on with Mark altogether. Like,
Look at the
was that?
preview for the next episode.
I have not seen it. No.
I mean, on the menu, I didn't look at any preview. I just saw
Yeah.
the menu description.
So I did not realize this because I just never really scrolled past the next episode. But on my screen, on my device, the Apple TV that I use the device, the Apple TV device.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to it there, it only shows the current episode and then next week's episode. It does not show the rest of them, right? So I honestly thought that this was the finale. I thought even when we talked last week, there's been a couple things that I've just totally missed, like in the show, like I don't know if I admitted it to, but yeah, from last week's episode, I totally did not catch that Christmas sweater guy and the fucking dentist guy were the same person. He fooled me with his fucking costume. I did not catch it. I thought they were two different people. And somebody said it to me, and I was like, "Wait, that wasn't the same guy." And they're like, "Yeah, it was." And I went back and looked again. And I was like, "Oh, it's 100% the same guy. He's just wearing a fucking beard and got a different wig or a haircut on." I totally didn't catch that. And the whole finale thing. I thought this was the finale. Somebody said we're getting 10 episodes, so I think we got 2 more.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the 10 episode seasons. I fell in love with that during those first amazing seasons of Game of Thrones. I thought it was a sweet spot. That 10 episodes, if they told the story just right and it was well done enough, that was a perfect amount to
Yeah.
to keep it
Let's
going.
see. Just want to make sure. I always like the next one is the After Hours.
Yeah, and it looks like we're getting back to the gang, or it's like the synopsis is Mark and Devin get an ally.
Team with an ally.
Well, I
Yeah.
wonder who the ally is going to be. But again, those
Well,
they just put those synopses up there so they're very vague so they don't spoil anything.
yeah. So no, this was pretty good. I liked the episode. Like I said, I was a little nervous when I turned it on and I saw that it was only 37 minutes. But
Yeah,
this one packed a punch
it really
without
did.
a whole lot. They kind of just say, okay, we're gonna show you a couple of things
And
that's
then
really gonna change how you look at what's happening in this show.
it was
So that was
very
great.
it dropped some bangers on it just like last episode. Some really revealing stuff. They're really starting to pull back the curtain and let us see a little bit here. So I wonder if they have it planned to the end and like how many seasons they have in mind. It feels like a 6-ish season type of thing and wrapped up beautifully and nicely and like no writer strikes or cancellations or fucking like come on man, see this thing through to the fucking end
I
because
think a
is
solid
awesome.
4 seasons would be perfect.
4.
Only because, yeah, 4. I think
Okay.
because I've experienced the perfect TV show before. The Good Place, 4 seasons. That was the stated goal. They told that story completely from start to finish.
Yeah,
Um, I think 4 is a good sweet spot, especially at 45 plus minutes per episode.
sure.
10 episodes a season. That's a good enough time to tell. I could be wrong. If we get 6, I'm gonna watch 6.
Sure.
Just
No, I feel like
but
it is a breaking point though. Like I feel like season 7, season 8, they start to like really like reach in certain things. I feel like 4 to 6, like we'll give it that 4 to 6 seasons is a good sweet
yeah,
spot
it gets to a
and a
point
good
where
an
after
opportunity to
you
tell a complete
reveal so many
story
secrets.
without people aging out, without actors and actresses contracts being up and this and that. And the business side of it, kicking a good story in the ass really fucking sucks when that happens. So like I want to see this one. I'd like to see this one through to the end. That would be ideal, I'll say. But yeah, so anyway, we will be back for the next week. The After Hours is what the episode is called, and that'll be episode 9. And hopefully that we got 2 more, and that'll be it for our Severance series. But yeah, check us out on Daredevil. I don't know, we'll do a little Invincible wrap up maybe. I know we haven't been covering that one, but like it got good. It's really good.
It stayed good, but it
Yeah.
got really good.
It,
It's
have you seen the latest one?
yeah. I'm up to date on
Yeah, me
Invincible. I
too. That
watch that.
was
My son won't let me not watch it. So
yeah,
it,
like yeah. Should be
yeah.
really good. I'm looking forward to next week on that one too. But yeah,
All
man. So
right.
yeah, check us out. Next one, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the buttons, whatever. Comment down below. Talk to us about it. Got a weird comment on the Daredevil one. It was like, "Hey, really nice video. Can you help me with this finance thing?" I was like, "What? Okay, scammer, get the fuck
We
out of
got
here."
the first damn
Right.
comment.
But
That's what's
yeah,
up.
other than that, so yeah, check us out next time, and we'll see you. We'll see you then.
What? Don't stop it.
Got it. I have it.
If you're watching it, if you subscribed, let us know. If you're getting the videos, hit the bell so you can get notifications when the
Yeah,
new
that too.
videos come out. And you definitely, if you can, just let us know if the videos are coming up on your feed organically, or
Well,
do you have to search for them?
I
We're trying
looked
to make sure the algorithm is working right.
right, and I looked into that too because there was this setting that I checked on there a long time ago, and it might just be carrying through, but it was like when I was first setting stuff up, and they were like, "Oh, here's the best YouTube settings. You should do this one." When you publish a video, there's a little checkbox that says like publish to your subscribers and send out an alert or whatever to your subscribers. But they said if you check that box, that it's basically all that it goes to. It doesn't go
Ah,
out to everyone else. So I think I've left that unchecked. But if you do hit the bell notification, that should give you a notification that we've posted a new video. But I'm not sure on that. I can try on the next one to check the box and see what the results are and see what happens. But because when I post them, I just reuse the details. So I think it's just leaving that box unchecked. So I'll check
mm-hmm.
it on this when I publish this one, and we'll try it on this one, and I'll uncheck it and see if you get the
Also, let us
notification.
and
But
please subscribe.
if we get less views, then we know that I need to keep it unchecked or whatever. Because we've
We
been
want to
steady
keep
at like
going up.
100+ views on all these Severance ones, except for the very first one. So yeah, I would like to keep that momentum going. That'd be cool. And like I said, always
Yeah,
engage with the video. It helps in the algorithm. Always any engagement. So all right, we'll see you on the next one.
deuces.